What's up, guys? My name is Ted Darklaw, and with me, as always, is the Black Knight. We are the co-owners of Hella Dope Toys, helladopetoys.com, the best place to go buy your action figures. Aaron, how the hell are you doing?
Fun day, man. You know,
Yeah?
day job, this job. Yeah,
Awesome, man. This is
tired of shit.
back-to-back weeks where you just give me fucking bangers of how you're doing.
You got to keep it consistent. You
Yeah.
can't change it up now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, day job whooped my ass 2 days in a row. I am ready to just sit down and catch up on my House of the Dragon because that comes back in like 3 weeks. So I wanted to move the show to 10 o'clock now. Sorry, guys. Okay, I'll show up.
Watch it. You can watch it after.
Ew, no, so then people will spoil it.
No one will spoil it. You'll be here.
I suppose.
Okay.
So how are you, man?
I am great. I didn't have to go to the day job today. I spent the day with wifey, and we had breakfast, and I did hella dope work, and then we had a nice dinner, and now I'm here. I was very productive. I fixed the vents. I did something else productive. I don't remember what. I did lots of productive things.
Well, that's good. I'm glad someone did something productive today.
Yeah, and you know what's even better? Tomorrow, nobody can bother me. Nobody can bother me.
I wish I could say that. We're having our crew outing tomorrow.
Oh, that's ridiculous. That's don't bother you day. Oh, wow.
But see, I mean, they're paying for it. I mean, the worst thing that I gotta buy is booze, and whatever.
Okay. All right then. Well, we have a guest this week, Aaron.
We do, but I mean, we got some tough outings. We're up against Drew G right now.
Oh, I know. Well, there's no Geek Dad Life tonight, so Drew G will wear himself out, and they'll all come around. Thought we would swoop up some of those Geek Dad Life people, but apparently I am wrong.
Not cool enough yet.
Not cool enough yet. It's all right. It's okay. But we do have a guest tonight. He is the founder of ToyCollectr Magazine, bringing the nostalgia of old childhood toy magazines and putting it into the modern day. He's literally taking the past, Aaron. He's taking the past and he's putting it in the present and laying it in our laps for us to feast upon.
Interesting.
Yeah. And we're going to talk to him all about it. We're going to learn about this magazine. We're going to learn what's going on with him. I'm going to talk about some other cool stuff. And that's what we're going to do. So let's welcome our guest tonight, Mr. Blake Wright of ToyCollectr. Welcome, Blake. How the hell are you doing?
Hey, guys. Yeah, doing good, man. How are things? Hella dope, I hope.
Always.
There you go.
Always. Hella dope.
There you go.
If it's not, at least we'll tell you that it is.
Yeah. So, I guess for anybody that may not know who you are, do you want to give a little brief introduction and let the humans know?
Sure. So, my name is Blake Wright. I live and was born and raised in Houston, Texas. My toy journey, I guess, on a semi-professional level, started back in 2015 when I convinced a lot of folks that it was a good idea for me to write a book about unproduced toys. And that became The Toys That Time Forgot, Volume 1, which some folks may know. Here it is.
Nice.
So it basically it took into account about 20 to 25 lines that got through to some point of development, but for whatever reason never made it to store shelves. So some of it was lines you've absolutely never heard of before that never made it out. Some were extensions to existing lines that of course did make it out. That book was successful enough for me to do a second one. 2 years later, and then 2 years later I did a third one. So there are 3 of those books out there now. And when it came time to do the next thing, I was under a little bit of pressure to do a 4th book, but there was a trilogy there that I thought was a nice package, and I didn't really want to jump in and do a 4th one. So Toy Collector kind of sprang out of that. So the magazine kind of sprang out of, I was really passionate about telling these stories about toys that we never got to play with as kids, but I wanted to do something equally as passionate and talk about toys we did all get to play with as kids, and toys that we actively collect now. And that a book wasn't the right avenue for that, but a magazine was. You take a look at the landscape. The last toy magazine that we had went out of business almost 10 years ago. There's a reason for that. The model back then was to reveal what was coming next. Well, the internet crushed that model. You can't do that anymore to the degree where that is your sole, your sole way of putting stuff out there. But if I took the model of showing you pictures and telling you stories that you may not have ordinarily, seen or heard, I thought that I could carve out a little bit of a niche. And happy to say that issue 12 is at the printer right now, so we're officially 2 years old. And moving forward, we're real excited about the future. And I like to think that all the nostalgia that's been running rampant through these past several years, extended all the way back to paper magazines, and I look like I was dead on about that. So
right.
Awesome.
We're excited. Yeah.
So you said you're celebrating 2 years with issue 12. So you do what, about 6 issues a year?
Yeah. So it's a bi-monthly. So yeah, we do 6 issues a year. So the one that went to press this week is July, August. So it will, it's our Comic-Con preview. So we'll, the reason it has to go to press so early is not because of anything other than logistics. So we have to have a 2-week print window, a 2-week window to get it from the printer to the distribution centers for Barnes & Noble and Books A Million, and then 2 weeks to get it from the distribution centers out to the stores. So literally, you're working 6 weeks in advance minimum on a print publication, which in the age of the internet, like I said, it's very tough to break any news. But I'm happy to say that all of the covers that we've published to date have been exclusive reveals to us. Mm-hmm. So you saw it first on the cover of Toy Collector, and the one that's at the print shop right now is another exclusive reveal to us. So we're 12 for 12. Oh, yeah. Something the internet told me I couldn't do. So,
well, we're gonna tap into more of this here shortly, but I have to ask Aaron an incredibly important question.
Yes, I did ship out all of my stuff today.
It's Sunday, bro. You got time. You could have waited until Tuesday morning. No matter.
Oh, good, because I didn't ship it out.
We haven't shipped out nothing. That's not true. Aaron, I have to ask you now that you've ruined it. What are you sipping on? What you sipping on?
71 episodes, nothing's changing today. Maybe the flavor, but we are once again on the spiked strawberry still reserve. That classic 8% of deliciousness that only costs you $2 a can. Yes.
That's good beer math.
That is great beer math. And you feel it in the next day, all $2 of it.
You got to pay that beer tax on the other end.
Hey, I don't have to get up at 7 a.m. tomorrow, so hey, I'll pay that tax twice.
Yeah. All right.
But what is a show without being considered and asking you said question, Mr. Darkclaw?
Yeah.
what is it that you are currently sipping on today?
Aaron, I am so glad you asked. In my trusty hella dope mug, I'm actually sipping on some iced coffee. Ooh, yeah. I just want to clink it up, man. Boy. Shout out to Rocco the Great for that amazing song. Love you, Rocco. We'll stop stealing your shit. So yeah, I have some coffee there because I've been so productive today. I was feeling down, and you know me, I don't have the beer on the show. I drink that before we come on the air. I have my trusty sober upper Saratoga, refreshing, crisp, tastes like beer if you already have the buzz, but doesn't add any of the fun to it.
Interesting.
I also have some smart water in case I get dehydrated from all my iced coffee and my Saratoga. Saratoga does not hydrate you. I don't even really believe this is water. It's nonsense, false advertising. But we have a guest, Aaron.
We do, yes.
And we have to ask our guest, Blake. We would like to know what you sipping on.
So I have a ice glass of Coke Zero. And I'm drinking it out of my Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem pint glass.
Oh, that's
even
fun.
better. See, it makes it extra crisp.
There you go. That's what we got going on this evening.
Oh yeah.
Perfect. Love it. Well, the chat is somehow booming. The people are slowly pouring in. Aaron, do we want to say hello to the chat?
Well, yes, we should. At least say
We should say hello to the chat.
Who we got? We start off the comments with Roll Keeper. An early hella dopers have to catch the replay. By the way, anyone who has catch the replay rewind, what did you guys think about that? Is that something that you want to keep seeing? It definitely got some good replay value. But what did you think? Let us know. We might do it to this one too.
Yeah, I wanna come back on that point a little later towards the end as well because that took a lot of time. Took a lot of time, and I don't want to do it if no one's gonna watch it.
You're gonna do it anyway.
I might.
Robert's Infinite Roams, hella dope and jelly time. I got you, man. And of course the Fellowship of the Dollies Unite. Good to see you, man. I saw that Miss Stacy there on the Facebook liked the thing, so tell her we said hello. And we got Epic Badger, hello, and howdy folks, and howdy to you. Cobweb Collector, hello to you. I love how that's becoming a thing. The hellos and all that.
Yeah, we gotta give Roll Keeper credit on that one.
Yes, we'll put
but
that
I like
on the
that
shirt.
It's spreading.
We'll put that on a shirt with all the other things that we're gonna do, but we'll make sure it's very small print. We'll credit him for it.
Yeah, very small print. And then shout out to Cobweb Collector as well. If you guys aren't subscribed to his channel, go check it out. Man's doing a lot of reviews. That channel is growing quickly, and you want to be one of the people that said, "Hey, Cobweb Collector, I was here from the beginning." You don't want to be one of those bandwagon people that are coming in when he's at 20,000, 50,000 subs and be like, "Oh, I'm such a fan." No, it's a fake fan. Do it now.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
And of course, the Mrs. Black Knight coming to join us. She's upstairs doing something. We had a delicious dinner. A little lasagna, some salads. She says, "Good evening. Happy Sunday fun day. Who's ready for a drink?" She says that she is, but she actually never drinks anything. Like ever. Like, there's a whole probably like 4-pack still sitting in the refrigerator that was there like 2 months ago. Yeah. And then I drank it, and then she's like, "Well, where'd my drink go?" I'm like, "Well, I drank it." It's alcohol abuse if you don't.
That's true.
And our good friend Thanos Copter. Good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well. Also, Mrs. Black Knight says, "Blake, welcome to the Hella Dope Show." As my wife, she has to do those things, makes people feel welcomed. And then a new name that I have not seen, so always love to see new names. We have Hopkins Von Rabbit. This whole thing figured out. Rabbitarius. Yes, like it's like Sagittarius, but with a rabbit.
Yeah, no, I like that. That's cool.
Yeah,
Rabbitarius.
Oh yeah, I like the little icon too with the katana sword there. Love it,
dude. I love that name.
Well, welcome. Hope to see you more often.
Now I need a rabbit action figure.
Well, I mean, you had that Captain Carrot, but then we didn't
Oh,
have
yeah.
that Captain Carrot.
Whoops, he went quick.
He sure did.
He sure did.
HDC, what's going on, everyone? Good to see you, man. And we got our good friend Fat Red Foo. He says, how many copies go out to print every month?
It varies. I will simply say thousands.
All right, thousands is a good number.
You don't want to divulge too much of the good info. You gotta make you pay for it.
That's right.
And we got Ironic Bionic. What's up, guys? Hope everyone is chilling on this Memorial Day weekend. Officially, now that I'm off work, I did my hour and a half of door dashing this evening. So, I'm relax time, man. I ain't doing nothing. So, hope you're doing well on your Memorial Day weekend.
Damn straight.
And we got the 13th Prince. Good evening. Hope you're doing well. And Miss Allison Troy, the retro toy princess, Miss Coloring Extraordinaire.
I'm so mad because I had the day off and I was like, oh, I can finally check out Allison live doing the coloring thing. And I think she had Aaron the toy enhancer on, or maybe I don't remember. And then I had to go do productive stuff, and I was like, one day, maybe next Sunday. Maybe next Sunday.
I work next Sunday. I think I work next Sunday. I don't even know. I don't even know my work schedule anymore.
No, I like these Sundays off, man. I'll start living that life.
And Miss Stacy Hatch, she says she'll give you $50 for that Hello Dope mug right now.
This mug is priceless. The first one ever made by my daughter. She would kill me. The fact that I haven't broken it yet is a testament to my love of it. It'll be buried with me.
I mean, $50 right now? Yeah. I'm just saying.
You could do better than that.
All right, 5150.
You got to negotiate a little bit.
Nope. No negotiations here.
This guy.
All right, that's what we got so far. It is all yours.
Cool. All right, Blake, let's talk about this magazine. So you wrote a book and then you came up with the idea for the magazine. Is this just you? Are you a one-man operation behind all this, or do you have a team? Because that sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah, so it started out pretty much when I originally came up with the concept. I created a proof of concept for the magazine, and I flew out to LA, and basically between LA and San Francisco, and I met with any toy company that would meet with me, basically, and slid that proof of concept across the table and said, hey, talk me out of doing this. And then I had probably between 4 and 5 meetings in LA, and I walked out of every one of those meetings with a verbal agreement that for advertising. So that told me right there that, okay, this is, and I couldn't show them anything. I could show them 0 subscribers, 0 distribution. That was just, they were just going on, good faith. And I had built up some, some friendships there, because those 3 books took me 7 years to do. And I was constantly kind of in contact with toy companies and executives that work there, and sculptors and artists, and you name it. So I knew right away I was going to have to build a team when I got back from that trip. And my idea, the first idea I had, was to go out to actually the YouTube community and ask some of the higher profile guys that I had enjoyed, over time, and say, hey, would you be interested in doing a little something in a print mag? So I got the trio of Dans, because for whatever reason everyone's named Daniel. So I reached out to, I think, probably Daniel Pickett first from Action Figure Insider, and said, hey, this looks like a thing's going to happen. And he said, yeah, count me in. And then Dan Erdley, Pixel Dan, as everybody knows, doing his thing. And I said, same. I said, hey, guy, would you be interested? And he was like, yeah, sure. Let's do it. And then Dan Larson, who was doing Toy Galaxy at the time, now I guess Secret Galaxy. And then I had some connections in the toy business that, wanted to participate as well. So Adam Van Wickler, who is a guest on the Toy Amigos every once in a while, but he works for Gentle Giant, and they still do 3D scans and stuff for action figures for a lot of folks in sculpting. So he and David Vonner, who you may know has worked for everybody at one time or another. Those two guys have a column that kind of where they pick a topic and just kind of go back and forth on. I think the one in the upcoming magazine is about space constraints in your collector room because everyone's making these giant toys now. Then just recently, the most recent edition has been Trevor Williams, who you guys may know as 1/6 Shooter. He's a toy photographer.
Yeah.
He does his photography mainly for the Four Horsemen, but he does other stuff too. I had tried to get something going on the toy photography front because that is such a big deal right now. And I reached out to Trevor and said, hey, would you be willing to, write a little column for us about, your path and what you think it takes and tricks of the trade and that sort of thing. And he said, yeah, let's do it. So his first column will appear in issue 12.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
That's incredible. So you came up with this idea and you immediately just got on the grind. You were like, I'm hopping on a plane right now and I'm flying to LA and I'm knocking on these executives' doors and I'm saying, hey, do you want in on this? Like that's first of all, that's incredible. Just to stop what you're doing and be like, no, we're gonna go fly across the country real quick.
Yeah. Well, it's in the age of Zoom meetings and this sort of thing. Of course, this is pre-COVID, so I guess a little bit. No, wait a minute, wouldn't be pre-COVID, post-COVID. Anyway, it's all a blur.
Yeah, it all blends together after a while.
Yeah, but it just I think it meant a lot to the people I was talking with that I was in the room. It's like, look, I'm passionate about this. I want you to be passionate about it. Is it time for this to come back? And everyone was like, yeah, I think you're onto something here. And even the folks that I wasn't able to visit with in person, I would, call up, some of the people that I knew, because I didn't go to the East Coast, but I would, phone those guys and say, hey, it looks like I'm going to do this. Can I count on you for, at least, I mean, if not, commercial assistance, then editorial assistance, giving us, news and access to people and that sort of thing. And everyone that I've asked has pretty much said, yeah, what do you need? So it hasn't really been, it's been slower to get in with some folks, because the bigger the corporation, the more gatekeepers you have to go through. Also, when you're dealing with asking for money from a lot of these companies, well, their print ad budgets are long gone because they haven't had to advertise in a toy magazine. So it makes that a little bit of a dicey proposition, but that's why, at least I know for a fact, in some corners of some of the larger toy companies, I'm lumped in with their influencers lists and things like that, because that's who they deal with now for the most part. They don't really deal with the print press, but I try to tell them at every breath I can that I'm different. I'm like the old days. I'm not going on YouTube or Instagram and doing reviews or anything. I'm doing a print publication. And usually when I'm able to get one into somebody's hands, they get it. It's, one of the things that was really important to me when doing this is I wanted this thing to be a collectible in itself. I'm charging you, if you're a subscriber, I'm charging you like $11.50. But if you pull it off the rack, it's $15. So, I wanted it to be perfect bound. And I wanted you to be able to, see the highlights of what's in it. So when it sits on your shelf and they're all lined up, you can go, oh, that's the one with Moo Mesa in it. And you pull it out, and you can read this. You can go back and read the story, So, it was, like I said, I didn't want this to be a consumable that you would read and trash, like Entertainment Weekly or something. I wanted this to be of a quality that it found a place in your collection. So that was a lot of what went into doing this. And is it more expensive to do it this way? You bet it is, which is why I have to charge what I charge. But it was important to me to, create a collectible experience in a magazine that talks about collectibles.
Now, I have a question in regards to, as a person who's never had the opportunity but will soon to be able to open up one of those magazines, what are they going to expect to see inside? You talked about, you got toy collectors, toy creators writing articles. You have toy photographers writing articles. To me, the only magazine in my head that I can compare this to that was from the 90s would be like Wizard, which was like very comic based, and
Right.
they would have different sections. So is it similar to that? What's inside of this thing? If somebody was buying issue 12 right now, and it was going to be shipped to them, what would they be seeing inside of there?
So, it starts off with the news section because I felt it was important to also kind of be a journal of record when it came to the news as we're experiencing it now, because there really isn't, without another print pub doing that, we're relying so much on social media to capture the news of the day, so to speak. Well, social media is terrible at doing that because, you literally see a press release pop up from one of your, favorite toy companies early in the day. And then when you go back to try to find it after lunch, it's gone, unless you know to go directly to their site or whatever. And then working a search engine on social media is like pulling teeth. It's terrible. So the news section up front, I wanted it to be, so for example, because this one's here, the first news story in this was about the new Moo Mesa figures. So that was an exclusive to us. We got to debut the first wave of what was coming there. And then, you get your next page was about Rob Liefeld and Loose Collector getting, starting their new figure thing, about the Simpsons returning, about, I guess that's Jax doing that. And then Mattel Creations doing their, they did like a 2-day thing called Creations Revealed or something like that. It was a video series where they showed some stuff. As close as we get to something that like what Toy Fair did back in the day was a section called Take Our Money, which is basically highlighting, 6 or 7 toys that are coming that we think are worth your money. So the news section basically gets rounded out by not necessarily one of the things that a lot of people miss, but it's just too difficult to do, especially in a bi-monthly print publication, is a price guide. Unfortunately, prices change too quickly for something like that. Not to mention, doing a price guide would be a full-time job for somebody. And also, add to that the fact that what became the de facto place to learn about value, which was sold auctions on eBay, is no longer reliable because they're taking offers and you're getting that green line through the price and you don't know really what they ended up getting for it.
So on that tangently conversation, I was scoping out your website, and I think a post that you had made, I saw either on Twitter or Instagram, I don't remember, was Hobby Database.
Yeah.
Now I got with that a couple years ago when I was dealing with Funko Pops,
Mm-hmm.
and just seeing what it was. I bought it for $10. It's now like the hot item at like $70.
Right.
How are you intertwined with that?
Well, I mean, basically, Christian, the guy that runs that, asked me for just some assistance and helping getting the word out about Hobby DB, because that's something that he passionately wants to grow, and so I didn't have any trouble, uh, extending good faith deal with those guys. I really haven't. I mean, truthfully, haven't really dove too deeply into everything they're doing over there. But I know that a lot of pop collectors use it, and they want to expand into. Like I said, you're looking at it there, a ton of different collectibles. It's a daunting task what they want to be. So I think that's one of the reasons right now. I believe they're trying to raise some money to get to be able to move further in the direction of getting more and more collectibles added to the database. So I mean, I met Christian at Toy Fair several years ago, way before even ToyCollectr was launched, and we just we're not really we're good acquaintances. And when he asked for, would you put a little link to Hobby DB on your website? I said sure, because the website in and of itself is just a portal to really advertise or to subscribe. There's not a lot of news there. We don't really do a lot of web-based news at all. We don't really do web-based news on our socials. We just try to keep you abreast of everything that's happening with the magazine. If we're going to do a show, that's where we'll be. We do some teases about stories that come out, that sort of thing. But it's fun to watch a project like this, mature and grow over time. And I've wished him the best of luck on it. And I would, try to. The idea was for the toy collector audience who are into action figures, to be maybe get their interest piqued enough to go take a peek over there and maybe actually get active there, So I think that's really what he was after, and I was happy to.
It's nice because it's like a combination of like a price guide mixed with eBay, because
Right,
like you can it has its own market within it, so
right,
you can buy and sell with other people that are also in the forum. Like I said, back in my Funko Pop days, I mean, I got a lot. I bought a lot of stuff off of there that I didn't have, or I sold some stuff because people were interested. Because I mean, I'm out when I was out in the true hunt. It was great because I had a list of what I had and
right.
like what was I missing from the collection. So it just made things for the hunt easier. So it was just funny that when I was going through your site, I saw that like, man, I'm on this. I've been on it for almost 5 years now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
easy,
pretty close to
probably.
that. Yeah.
So the one thing we did instead of doing price guide stuff is we did a something called price check. So we go into, and you guys, well, as an online store, but I check in with a lot of brick and mortar stores around the country and get like a marquee sale from the past 30 to 60 days
Mhm.
and let you know what it is and what they got for it and that sort of thing. So it kind of gives you, just a little bit of a barometer about, what's selling where and what price that may be. Um, and then we have a series of columns. We do have a customizer column. My good
Nice.
friend Stephen Ward is doing, in this issue, he did basically like reaction versions of what we do in the Shadows figures.
Yeah. Those are
Um,
nice.
uh, Another thing I did, because I have the access to the books that I wrote, I will pull a chapter on occasion and drop it in here as something called Lost Project Files. So this was Earthworm Jim.
Wow.
And because there was the one series that came out, but the second series was prototyped and never came out. So this page over here is all the prototypes.
And I just want to say, just glancing at these pages, man, the artwork and the formatting is incredible. Like,
yeah, again, like I said,
those are some fun looking pages.
It was really important to me to make it that way. And then the big thing, there's two pretty good interviews in this one. We had, Todd McFarlane talking about 30 years of toys.
That's a big one right there. Getting Daddy Todd in there.
Yeah, got the Todd father. You can't go wrong, right? And then in between the two, we had a guy went toy hunting at a toy show in Italy.
Oh, interesting.
And came back and did a write-up for us about what he found there, what he bought there, and the pricing and everything. So that was really cool. We're going to have another one of those, not this issue, but next issue from London. And then if you're anywhere on Instagram, you know who Mr. Stevie 18 is. So Steve Evans of Hasbro, we also have his interview in here.
Wow.
This was just days after he got put back on the Marvel and Star Wars teams, heading that up. And so, yeah, some really good stuff. And they're really good about dropping little tidbits in these things that are of exclusive. Like he mentions the retro Grievous that's going to be in their line. And this was out before that picture ever surfaced, before they showed them at all. So you would have known the retro Grievous was coming prior to them releasing it. And then sometimes we do silly features like this. So this is an incomplete history of orcs as action figures.
Okay.
We started with Dungeons and Dragons, and we get into Lord of the Rings, and some Warcraft, and even some Chat May stuff. It's fun. It's and then actually we had a reveal back here too. So of course there's the Mythic Legions, but up here is a new Vitruvian hack that I don't think they've announced. I don't think they've announced that guy yet. Ooh. So we were able to get that image.
So let me pull you up there.
Yeah.
So that's a sneaky peek right here.
Right.
Yeah. This show is hella dope.
So and then in the back we'll do figure reviews. So we do, there's the Wolf Trooper from the Skeletron guys.
I like that.
It's a cool O-ring figure that they're doing. They did with their Kickstarter. And then Snout Spout from the Motu line. I love that headline. 5 in the snout, everybody. That was a catchphrase because they advertised his articulation and all these points of articulation he had. And one of the lines that said, and 5 in the snout. So that became a thing. 5 in the snout became a thing.
That's clever.
And then you've got Fire and Ice, Dark Wolf.
People were very excited about that one.
From the Frazetta Girls. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, so that is it. 84 pages, pretty much standard now.
That is wild.
For the magazine. And, we're, I'm tickled that, what the reception has been, and it's I've generated enough revenue that's going to allow me to keep doing this for the foreseeable future.
That is awesome. Yeah. Oh, we have some questions in the chat.
Yeah,
so we're going to hit them up real quick. And
awesome. Our good friend Kato, and if you missed last week's show, like I said, you are more than welcome to watch the full episode or part of the Hella Dope Rewind. We had a really good show with him. It was great having him on, so good to see you, Kato. Thanks for stopping in. And of course, our good friend, our very good friend, Sam, the newsman. He says, Blake, thanks for bringing the written word about toys back to our fingertips.
You are welcome, man. I am happy to do it.
Good old Sam. Good guy.
I love Sam. I love that Sam's popping in now.
Yeah. Like we must mean something now. Like we've done it.
Sam likes us, I guess.
And then our good friend, it's Chad. Thank you, sir, for that generous $5 super chat. He says,
Chad.
yo, gentlemen, and awesome chat people. I'm doing double duty because he's over on that Drew G show. Needed to come and show some love. Well, Chad, we thank you, man. We continue the good fight with you on trying to get your Instagram and all that back all together. So good luck to you, man, and hope everything works out for you. Tony Horton, he says, what's good, everyone? Hope all is well with you. What a great time to be a collector. Yes, there's no better time than right now. And just a lot of good stuff coming, a good magazine that gives you all the good info.
Yeah, a lot of good info, apparently.
So we'll touch back that we'll touch back there again because I think Cato had a question, so we'll just kind of say that for that moment. Which is actually the next one. He says, once again, thank you, Cato, for that generous $5 super chat. He says, 1, where can I buy? And 2, how can I help?
As far as a magazine, you can buy by subscribing at ToyCollectr.com. If you want to just try one out, you can go to your local comic shop and get them to order you one through previews. Or it is available at select Barnes & Noble and Books A Million stores. If you tell me where you are located in the States, I can get you a name or location of a store that's nearest you that carries it.
And the link for the site, if you want to buy the subscription, is scrolling down in the bottom and is in the description for the clicky click.
There it is there on screen. With the latest showing of issue 12 and I know that you have now 2 covers within the Cell Company. One being this one, and then the other one being the Biker Mice.
We did Biker Mice with them, yeah.
So how did that come to be? And did you reach out to them? They reach out to you?
Because Brian Volkweis loves me. That's why. Yeah. So I met Brian at Toy Fair several years ago. It was just when I had a copy of Toys That Time Forgot Volume 1, but it was just printed out and clipped together, and it wasn't published yet. I think I could be wrong. Anyway, I had a copy of one of my books with me, and we were at a bar, and it was me and Brian Volkweis and Brian Stillman, who you may know that name. He's a documentary guy. He did Plastic Galaxy, which was a Star Wars documentary. He also did something with Fantasy Artist not that long ago. I forget what it was called. But all I could hear over the din of music and other people screaming was, "Oh my God, this is great. This is great." They turned the page. "This is great." So that was my introduction to Brian Volkweis. And then ever since then, we text each other a lot, and just say, "Hey, how's it going? How are you?" He's one of the busiest mans on the planet. If you don't know everything that man does, it's pretty impressive. He is one of the companies I went out to when I was in LA and sat down with him and slid it across the table and said, "Hey, man, if I do this, well, are you guys on board?" And he didn't hesitate. He said, "Yeah. What do you need from us?" So I said, editorial support would be awesome. Commercial support would be even awesomer. And he goes, "Well, how much are your ads?" And I told him. He said, "Put us down for a half page recurring for the rest of time." So I'm like, "Okay, done." Oh, yeah. So that's how that relationship has gone. And then when it's come time for me to look for something to put on the front page, I will go out and say, "Hey, what do you got? Do you have anything?" And a lot of it's timing, a lot of it's luck. Some of them they have to go back through and get licensor approval to reveal it that way. So it's not as easy as I make it sound sometimes, but we just try to work together and get it done. It helps that in the Cells case, they are the IP owner, so they don't have to run it through anybody. But whereas when we did the Simpsons with Super 7 was on, we had some Simpsons Ultimates on the front. That went down to the wire. I almost had a blank cover that issue, trying to get approval from Gracie and everyone who had to approve that cover.
So that would have been cool though. You had like maybe like a faded out silhouette where maybe it looked like it was the Simpsons, but
actually it was gonna end up being one of those this page intentionally left blank. With just say ToyCollectr and then the barcode down at the bottom, and then or draw your own.
Draw your own cover.
Yeah, draw your own.
Those are nice. They do well. Right? I say, yeah, they do well in the comics like that.
Actually, you know what? I think I'm going to do one of those.
Take it to Comic-Con. Yeah.
I think I'm going to do one. Why not? That sounds awesome. That sounds awesome.
I just want.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about negotiation, and it's all about if they have something that will work in the window I need it to work in. And usually once I do a cover reveal, I ask them for a minimum of 2 weeks before they release the image that's not associated with my cover. So if they wanted to share that image, I ask them for the first 2 weeks to share my cover and don't release the image on its own. So I do have it. So it allows my subscribers to get it in the mail. The bulk of them anyway. And so if they don't see the cover reveal online, it's still a bit of a surprise when they get it in the mail.
And Cato just said that he has subscribed to the magazine.
I just got one that came across. If his name is Bobby, then yes, thank you.
We don't speak the government name.
Oh. Did I say Bobby? I meant Cato. I meant Ramon. It says.
Not Cato. You got a few more in the chat, Aaron?
Yeah, I got a few more. They're just some quick ones here. Our good friend Jason Evangelista. Hello. Good seeing you, Jason.
Hello.
And then Desri Fan says, did Blake mention the Earthworm gem yet? Yes, he did.
Actually, what he's talking about is something a little different. Because I know exactly what he's talking about. If you look over this shoulder, you see that there is an Earthworm gem that no one has but me currently back here. So that is an exclusive Earthworm gem that will be available soon. There had been some delays getting it out of China, mainly because there were, I think, a few things that the company wasn't ultimately happy with. And so they got the factory to fix a few things that they wanted fixed. So it delayed that wave being available, including my exclusive. If things go like I believe they will, I could have that sometime next month.
Oh, wow.
Fingers crossed. But I'm not 100% sure, so don't hold me to that, because it was supposed to have been a few months ago. Okay. But there was a bit of a delay because of something they desperately wanted to fix. And I'm all for companies that, I mean, if they spot something that got through the cracks while they're dealing with China and they want to go back and fix it, by all means, go back and fix it. Don't ship it like that if you don't want it out there like that. So they chose to get it rectified, and so I salute them for it.
That's awesome. Yeah. Not enough of that anymore.
So that's the Earthworm gem update.
Awesome. And then Hopkins Van Rabbitarius says, do you cover Transformers?
I do. I will confess, however, that there are two areas of toydom, action figuredom, however you want to call it, that we are weak in, that I firmly if anyone says that you're weak in it, I will agree with you. One is Transformers. The other is wrestling. It's just not something that ever appealed to me directly. And I think that kind of has a knock-on effect of how coverage gets disseminated. But we do cover Transformers as much as, watching out for the latest stuff that comes out. We that little section I showed you that take our money, there's a toy from Transformers 1, this show that's coming out soon, that made it into that section for issue 12. It's the Quintesson, because I always love the Quintessons. But have we done a lot of feature work with the Transformers? No, not yet. We did do an interview post Comic-Con last year with the Transformers team, who was there on the ground. So we talked to them and we did a little thing with them. But I will be the first to say we're a little weak on Transformers. And one of the reasons early on was because at the time I was launching this, there was already a magazine dedicated to Transformers called Toy Robot, which was a really if no one ever saw that, it was a really slick magazine. A couple of guys, were out there doing the thing. And I don't know if like one of them had a family that owned a print shop or something, but they were doing really slick looking magazine. But they just, I think ultimately their view was too narrow. It was too niche, being just really Transformers and other, mainly Transformers. I guess there was some other toy robot stuff in there. I only saw one copy of it. It was very well put together, but ultimately I think they stopped printing it after maybe 6 or 7 issues. So that's it. That's all I got. That's all I got.
I was gonna wait. Yeah. Speaking of, I just want to toss this out there since you brought up the wrestling thing, and I have it sitting in my hand. For those who had purchased and had long awaited, finally, Logan Paul finally has a ribbon. Arrived.
A ribbon.
So there are still some of those available for those that are interested at holduptoys.com. You just do the search for Logan Paul, and I'm sure you'll find it. I just want to toss that in since you brought up the whole wrestling piece. That's to me.
Yeah, we gotta show for ourselves,
Of course,
gotta just stick them in there.
And
chat.
Mama said, "Pop you out." Says, "Good evening, gentlemen." Mama said, "Pop you out." Good evening to you. And then Desree Fan says, "I need a lot of ease that Earthworm Jim." And I tell you, that Earthworm Jim does look good.
Yeah, it was one of the things when we weren't really looking to do exclusive figures. We did one with the very first issue because I knew I was pretty good friends with Bill Murphy, the guy that runs Fresh Monkey Fiction, and he was doing the Eagle Force stuff. And we just kind of kit bashed basically out of his existing Eagle Force figures, a new figure that we dubbed Special Ops Santa Claus. Because he was red and green and had a white beard with sunglasses, and he came with like candy cane weapons. It was really funny. And we did, so we did that the first time around, and it was a pretty good success. I still have a few, of course, and we put them up on they're up on eBay right now, the ones that were extra. But when the gym line, when I saw that was coming, I really wanted to be a part of that because that's one of my favorite toy lines of all time for whatever reason. I love the cartoon. The game was very hard, but I still played the hell out of it on Sega Genesis. And I remembered back in the day when Playmates had the line and they did their mail away, which was this black and green, almost Green Lantern looking Earthworm Jim. It was just a straight repaint. There wasn't anything special about it, truthfully. Just a different paint job. which I don't believe was canon at all. I don't think he ever wore that in a cartoon or in a game or anything. They just did it. So I was like, wouldn't it be fun in homage to that mail away to do a limited number of the green and black gems? And since it was a straight repaint, it wasn't, there was no new tooling involved, so I didn't have to pay, extra for anything like that. But we're talking the difference between, a $25 Eagle Force figure and an almost $60 gem figure. But we were able to work it out, and I was extremely happy that I'll get it since it's just hovering in the background.
I was gonna ask. I'm gonna wait.
Yeah. So there he is.
So it's like the hands
super glare. Here we go.
Yeah, it looks good.
And so we got, extra pair of hands. He has his ray gun and snot. And then yeah.
Is that a second head sculpt under the ray gun?
Actually, no, that's snot. That's his booger friend or whatever, sidekick. Gotcha. That used to come out of his backpack. So you can see on the back, it shows you everything that comes with it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that looks good. I like it.
Yeah.
Now, you softly committed that we could see these soon. Is this going to be something exclusive to your website? Like how? I guess the questions would be, if you can answer them, how many, and where could they get it when it's available?
Yeah. I'll be non-committal on the first one and just say very few.
Okay.
And then how you get it basically is I desperately wanted to do something. Again, I have no interest in being a store, but when this came along, I really wanted to do this. And so the way we came up with doing it without the two things I wanted to do was offer it to my subscribers first and limit it to one per.
Okay.
So what is going to end up happening is once I have them in stock, and I didn't do a pre-order because I wanted these things to be in my hands and ready to ship when I start taking people's money. Once I have them in hand, I will send out an email to my subscriber base, which will have directions on how to get it, which will basically be sending an email to a specified email address with your name and your subscriber number. Once we verify that you are an active subscriber, and when you send that email, you're basically saying, yes, I would like one. We will send you an invoice through PayPal for one, which you will pay, and we will ship it to you. So we'll do that for 2 weeks. So subscribers will have a 2-week window in order to lock down getting a gem. Then once that 2 weeks is up, they're going on eBay. I'll go on our eBay store for the same price, which I think is $57.99 or something like that. And it'll be open to everybody. And it's kind of first come, first serve at that point. But I will say, if you're a subscriber and you want one, I don't think you're not going to have any problems getting one, I don't think. But there will probably be, I don't anticipate him hanging out on eBay very long. So that's the way we came up with it. It may not be perfect, but it accomplished the two things I needed to accomplish, which was, offering it to my subscribers first and limiting it to one per.
I don't see a flaw in how you got that set up. Let's say one, especially with you wanting to have it in hand before you even,
Yeah, I mean, I don't like taking people's money when I don't have a product for them to. I mean, I understand some companies, smaller company, bigger company, whatever, likes to have the money to use to pay for the manufacturing or whatever. These gems I've already paid for, so they're mine, free and clear as soon as they land, and then I will offer them to you, and hopefully everybody that wants one gets one. but like I did say, it is limited, and it's fairly. It would not be an exaggeration to say it is very limited. So don't delay if you want one. Let's put it that way.
There you go. So you know, make sure you guys subscribe, get that first crack if you can, and then you know, help support. You know, that's a great figure. Even
It'll
even
probably,
as a repaint, I wouldn't mind it.
I love it. It'll probably be our last one for a while, just because you know, this just gives me headaches.
Headaches from trying to beat the game.
Well, yeah, just trying to, just, you know, going back and saying, oh, this is going to be awesome, and then everything was going so smooth, and then, oh, it'll be happening after Chinese New Year. It's like, oh, great, and then they had the issue, and I was like, okay. So every day since, you know, the 1st of March, I've been asking, you know, answering the same question: where are the gems? Where are the gems? And I'm like, you know, I hope they're coming soon. But now
I know that feeling.
But now they're coming soon. So, you know, and like I said, I have enough trouble, you know, getting the magazine out, let alone, you know, having to become a toy store for a couple of weeks. So, and then we're going to do all the fulfillment ourselves. So I've got to ship, you know, I'll be boxing and ship. So I got to turn around and, you know, place my Uline order and get those boxes in and, you know, ship them out. I hope they come with a plastic bag around them. I don't know if that's the case or not, because I'm probably not going to have any extras to ship out if your package gets a ding in it. That's just going to be the way it is.
Our customers love bubble wrap. Like they send us messages all the time, like, oh my God, please extra bubble wrap all of my stuff. Actually, they hate bubble wrap, but we love bubble wrapping it for them.
You see that gigantic roll of bubble wrap?
That looks familiar.
Yep, I got one of them myself.
Yeah. So, yeah, plenty of bubble wrap around these parts.
So there you go. Yeah, get that subscription in. Hopefully you land a chance to grab one of those awesome gem figures. I might just end up doing it myself. I just love just love to have it just in the collection in general.
Yeah, it's really like I said, I jumped at the opportunity to do it because it was, like I said, one of my favorite lines of all time, and for me to be a part of the new line, it was just like, yes, I want to be a part of that.
Travis, we know you love the bubble wrap, man. You're like the main one that keeps saying, "Hey, bubble wrap all my stuff, man."
Are we good on the chat, or?
Yeah, you're good for it, man.
All right, cool. So, you know, this channel and this show, we share a lot about like our business highs and lows. I was wondering if maybe you would be willing to share a little bit of yours with us, like biggest success, and was there a day where you just thought, I don't think I can actually do this, and considered walking away? The peaks and valleys of it all.
As far as the magazine or
Yeah,
everything.
yeah.
So, you know, I think the highest of the highs so far really was that first trip out to LA when I could show nobody. I couldn't show you a subscriber. I couldn't show you a distribution model. I could just show you a proof of concept of what I wanted to do. And to walk out of there with verbal commitments for advertising was amazing. I mean, it really, you know, reinforced the idea that, hey, I wasn't full of crap after all. Apparently, that everybody wants this, or at least these guys do. And so, you know, the fact that I was able to launch this thing when people just aren't launching magazines anymore, really. I mean, it's you know, you always hear print is dead, this, that, and the other. But you know, I've heard that for 20 years, and it's still around. So it's you know, if it's on life support, well, then why hasn't anybody pulled the plug? Well, I think it's actually a little healthier than people realize, because a lot of magazines have turned into these niche publications. These serving, they're not these general, um, covering these, vast array of things. It's one thing, and I wanted to take toy collecting, and I wanted to focus on that, and I wanted to get good at producing content for that, both old and new. And yes, it's basically action figures and vehicles and play sets, because that's what I grew up with. So, I was 8 years old when Star Wars came out in 1977. So it was perfect for an 8-year-old boy to go see Star Wars. And that left a mark on me, left a mark on a lot of people my age. We probably grew up a little after the sweet spot in the 80s, when the government deregulated the cartoons, and they could become toy commercials, and everybody, it was awesome, because in the 80s, their boys' toys were everywhere. You couldn't get away from them. So that was probably the high, was going in there with an idea and having people smarter than me say, yes, you're right, let's do this. So that was the high. There really hasn't been a low so far. I guess my health was, we talked about that earlier. A lot of people know that I was diagnosed with cancer last year. Happy to report, everybody in the chat, that I'm in remission now. So everything is looking better. But it kind of stunted the growth that I had in mind for the magazine in its first year, or, so in its second year, So, there was a lot of stuff that I wanted to do that I was unable to do. But, now that the docs have given me the all clear, I fully intend to pick up where I left off before I was diagnosed, and get things rolling again. Yeah, no, it was definitely good news and this was only 2 weeks ago. So, I'm now basically what they call on maintenance mode, which I basically take a lesser version of the drug I was taking during the original treatment. There's no more chemotherapy, but I also have to go in and take a bone strengthening drug, because what multiple myeloma does, like I was saying earlier, it compromises your bone structure and causes fractures. So this bone strengthening stuff will basically, it's kind of a booster to get your natural system to heal this stuff quicker. For you Harry Potter fans out there, I get Skelegro. That's what I was calling it earlier. I get to take Skelegro for a few months. But yeah, I guess that was the low. Just not being able to fulfill all the things I wanted, that I had laid out in my head, but now I can hopefully get to start doing that. I've been, ever since they basically told me, I immediately went to Las Vegas for a week. To the licensing show that was there, and I got home Thursday night. I rested Friday, and then Saturday I was at Comic Palooza here in Houston. I went down there for a day just to see what was happening. And then even today there was a Retro Palooza, which is a little show that bounces between Dallas and here every year. It was down south, kind of where my in-laws live. And so my wife was going to go see her parents. So I kind of tagged along, and I ducked into that show for a minute. So, yeah, I've already reassimilated back into the geekdom of hitting these shows. So,
well, awesome. I think that's a good segue, because we did want to talk about your two events this past week, and one sounds more interesting than the other, like Licensing Expo, Comic Palooza. One sounds more fun, but I'm actually quite interested to hear the Las Vegas Licensing Expo
Yeah,
stories. So what were you doing there, and did you get to go party with Ace from Ramen? I heard he was there. Did you
I
do anything
didn't.
fun with anyone
I
else?
didn't see Ace, but the licensing show, for people who don't know, so I'll compare it to Toy Fair. So Toy Fair is basically uh, buyers are the main attendees, and they go and they see the product that toy companies are going to be making for the next 8 to 12 months or what have you, and they can make deals to purchase those products for their stores ahead of time. What licensing is basically IP owners are the ones that are set up at the show, and companies like if you're a t-shirt manufacturer, let's say, will go and say, okay, Coca-Cola, we'd love to do some Coca-Cola t-shirts. Let's see if we can't, do a deal to where we can create some Coke t-shirts. And so you sit down, and if you come to an agreement, you can make a deal. So there are a lot of toy companies set up there, because not only are they're actually both, they're licensees and licensors.
Mhm.
So and it gets, the reason I go mainly because it gets a lot of people that I need to see in a very small room compared to Toy Fair or compared to San Diego. I mean, it's a pretty big show, don't get me wrong, but it's not it's not as big as Toy Fair in San Diego. So, and it's also important. It was important to me because not only was there people there who I wanted to see, I felt there were people there who needed to see me because I had been laid up for so long. And I wanted people to realize that, hey, Toy Collector's still going. We're still a thing. Don't count us out. We had this hiccup, but now we're moving forward again. And so, the people, I mean, Hasbro had a booth there, Mattel had a booth there, Nacelle had a booth there, Spin Master, Funko, uh, you know, Jazzwares, uh, Sepia, who made the little shoo pets, the little hamsters. Remember those from several years ago? So a lot of toy makers were there. But I mean, Sony Pictures is there, Paramount is there, Amazon Studios is there. So it's all the people who are creating this IP. So if you're interested in making toys out of the next, Amazon, or for Rings of Power or whatever, well, those licensing agents for Amazon were there. So you could go as a toy company, get a meeting with them, sit down and figure out what it would cost, or figure out if it was even available. So there's a lot of those meetings going on at this show. But like I said, it's not just toys. I mean, like Coca-Cola was there. Other folks, non-toy people were there. A lot of clothing manufacturers, and then licensing agents themselves. So not necessarily single entities. So you have like, Global Brands is one group that has like 20 brands that they basically represent. So you go to them and Peanuts had a booth, and all the Smurfs had a booth, and so it's a really interesting show. And I wanted to get into closer relations with a couple of companies that were there, and I managed to do so, which was really good. There was an announcement a few weeks ago about a promotion at Mattel. A gentleman by the name of PJ Lewis was promoted to, I believe his title is something like Senior Vice President of Action Figures. Well, that sounds like somebody I need to meet, right?
Yeah.
So I had, when I got the release, I said, okay, we're going to run this in the magazine. So it's in 12. When 12 comes out, it'll be in there. And I said, I just happened to ask the girl, I said, is PJ going to be at the licensing show by any chance? And she said, yeah, he is actually. I said, if there's any way that, actually, she may have actually said, would you like to meet with him? And I was like, yeah, actually I would. So I went to the Mattel booth and hung out with the guy for 20 minutes or whatever, talking about what his role is and what he does. And their PR people were very nice, and I got invited to their cocktail hour, which was later that evening. Sat there, and that's where I actually ran into Hector Arce from Mondo was there.
Okay.
Talked to him for a little bit because I had to remind him where we met. And of course, I got it wrong. I thought we'd met at that show 2 years ago, but it turns out we had met a little further back at DCon in Anaheim. So, it's just like reconnecting with those people, with people like that, making new contacts or whatever, have a stack of cards. So I was able to meet with the Mattel people. I met with Weta because they were in there from New Zealand. And I happen to be a huge fan of their Epic Mini line. The little, they're not really articulated, but they're kind of like little statues. They're done in an animated kind of way, and they have Lord of the Rings and Ghostbusters and all this stuff. And I love that stuff. And I also collected the ray guns that they did several years ago. But I met with them, and I met with Funko Mondo. Was talking to some of their commercial people about maybe coming on board as advertisers. I met with Jazzwares, who as of issue 12 is on board as a new advertiser for us. Because you got to keep up with the Squishmallow stuff because that's where it's at. That's where it's at. And so it was one of those things where there's a lot of people in the room that I would love to see, and people I feel needed to see me. And plus, it's kind of a double-edged sword because I don't know if you can see in the background. You see that blue line stuff above my head?
Mm-hmm.
I'm working on a graphic novel right now.
Ooh.
On an IP that's mine. So I had, another motive of being at the licensing show a few select people what that's all about, and maybe they keep it, in the back of their brain for when it does, come out. And who knows, maybe it turns into something else, maybe not, but I don't know.
So walk me through what is it like? Because I don't know. I've been to several different conventions where people are set up at tables, you wait in a long line, you get maybe 45 seconds to talk, hey, good to meet you, sign this here, and then they tell you to keep on stepping.
Right.
How is it something similar like that at a licensed event, or is it more personable?
Yeah, you set up these meetings ahead of time.
Okay.
So you're going in there with a schedule. I threw mine away, or I would show you. But I had 5 to 6 meetings set up every day I was there, and it was all done in advance. And so you knew at 1:00 you were meeting the Weta people in the food court, or something like that. If you didn't have a place they don't have a booth, you got to find a place to meet, basically. So I met with Super 7 in the press area. I met with I met with Jazzwares in their booth, that sort of thing. But it's all sorted in advance, and usually the meetings are 30 or half hour. So you do get to sit down and explain everything. I took every magazine that we've done so far, and if they showed interest in looking at back issues, I had them. I would give them a fresh issue of the newest one I had. Flip through it, and they were like, "This is really nice." And it's like, "Well, yeah, that's part of the package." And at the end of the day, I don't walk out necessarily with deals done, but I'll tell you what, if there's at least one thing that happened at that show that was kind of a handshake thing with us, that if it happens for us, and this is a 2025 thing. If it happens for us, it'll be the biggest thing that has happened for us yet. I hate to be vague, but I have to be at this point.
It leads to anticipation.
Yeah. It was an opportunity that just kind of came up out of just spitballing things back and forth. And when they told me, or when the company said, "Would you be interested in this?" and I'm like, "Actually, yeah, that sounds pretty good. What did you have in mind?" And then we talked it through. We actually came up with a preliminary budget for it, and I am supposed to go out and to a formal meeting about it in the fall. So sometime in September, October, I'll go to their offices and we'll sit down and actually sign some papers if we end up going through with it.
Very
Looking
cool.
forward to when you are able to break that news.
Yeah, it'll be, like I said, this is a 2025 event, so hopefully we'll be able to, if we can get the deal done, which I don't see any reason, because it was just me and their marketing guy going back and forth, and then the CEO came over, and we were talking, and the marketing guy pitched it to the CEO, and the CEO said, "Yeah, why don't we do that?" So when the CEO says yes, I think that we're probably in pretty good shape, unless something materially changes between now and then.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
So did you leave Vegas, like mission accomplished? Like,
I
came
mean,
in there, did everything you
that
wanted to
was,
do?
if that deal alone is the only thing that comes out of Vegas, it was well worth me being there. But I think there'll be more things that come out of Vegas. I've got, plenty of people ask for rate sheets, so there's always advertising potential there. The one thing I think I am going to be doing is we're going to discuss, because when I met with Weta, Richard Williams, the guy that runs that place, he's always at Comic-Con for a few days. And they were really interested in me sitting down with him and their chief creative guy and doing maybe an interview, because they saw the McFarlane interview and the Steve Evans interview in the magazine that I gave to them. And they were like, could we do something like this with our guys? And I'm like, of course you can, So that'll be a really neat interview, talking with those guys in a future issue. Plus you plant seeds for, again, cover reveals and that sort of thing. So, if I get, like I said, even if that deal I was referring to doesn't happen, the advertising potential and the potential for future editorial participation will, again, make it well worth my time being there. Because Vegas, if you're careful, Vegas is a pretty cheap place to be. Flights don't cost that much. A hotel room in the Luxor is $50, and it's bridge connected to Mandalay Bay, which is where the show is. So it's a pretty cheap show to attend. So I would really have to screw things up for it not to be worth my while to go.
Yeah.
Like, be up all night at the craps table losing my mortgage. Which, fortunately for me and my wife, I don't gamble. So there we go.
There you go.
Perfect. Then you're a perfect person to go to Vegas. Nobody has to worry about you.
That's right. That's right.
Well, let's touch on Comic Palooza, and then we'll hit the chat. So, were you were just there visiting, or were you set up somewhere?
No, yeah, I was there as media, so I had a media pass. We do these things where we do basically toy hunts in photo form, like the thing from Italy that I showed you a few minutes ago. We'll have one for the Great Ohio Toy Show that was just this past March. We'll have in this coming issue our little toy hunt thing from that show. So I was going to do a little toy hunt thing from Comic Palooza, and it's a local show to me, so it's easy for me to go to. It's a weird little. I say it's little. It's a pretty big show, but it's mainly an autograph show. They get a lot of celebrities in there, so they had Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd there today, this weekend doing Back to the Future stuff. Saw John Heater and the other guy from what's the damn movie?
Napoleon Dynamite.
Napoleon Dynamite, yes. So they were there. Pedro and him were there, and then Robert Englund was there. Had a line around the corner. Saw a few other folks. A lot of walking. I think they had Walking Dead people there again. Anyway, it's a big autograph show. But as far as toys, there are some toy vendors there, and there's always some good stuff to be found. But there's also like soap vendors and homemade honey vendors, and just it's a weird amalgamation of part street fair, part toy show, part comics, part autograph, part, and NASA, because NASA's here, of course, had a big setup there. So I got to go in and touch a moon rock, which was great. Yeah, a little thing set up, you could go in and touch a moon rock. It is kind of a very random scattershot show, but people, I mean, it's well attended and people tend to enjoy it. So, you know, the biggest highlight for me was seeing some of the smaller independent toy guys that gave it a shot this time. So, David Silva's Beast of the Mesozoic, the dinosaurs, they were there. And then Savage Crucible was there. And
everywhere.
Yeah, and Animal Warriors of the Kingdom, Jason Bienvenu's thing was there because he's just in Louisiana, so it wasn't a big trip for him to come here. And so and that's basically what I bought. I bought a dinosaur. I bought this one because he's colored like an American kestrel, which is a bird who's part of the falcon family. He's real pretty. He's got blues and browns and stuff in there. So I bought that. And my Savage Crucible, bought that guy.
Smart move.
Yeah.
Good investment.
This is Nin Vilmir, I guess his name is. Nin. Nin Vilmir. Some lizard guy. And then
Aaron, you're muted.
I went bigger, went home on AWOC, so I got General Thane.
Nice.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
No, that was the one that hooked me in.
So yeah, he's super cool. And then, I got home and these were here. Which is
those got there quick. They moved.
Yeah, they ship fast, man. They actually put them back up on their website.
Yeah, the Figure Obscura stuff does ship really fast because they, like me, they wait until they have them in hand before they even put them up for sale. So yeah, I had a pretty good haul from this weekend.
Looks like it, man.
Yeah,
that is awesome. Well, we're gonna hit this chat and then we'll talk a little bit about the upcoming issue 12 and then get you back out to your life. But we do have a few questions in here, a few comments, a few questions. So we'll knock those out real quick and then we'll talk about the upcoming issue.
Sure.
Sounds good. All right. Hopkins says your magazine seems quality and premium. I don't mind if you aren't super heavy into it.
I think that was the Transformers thing. Yeah,
that went back to that. Some of these are going to be from a while ago that we kind of held on.
Thank you for understanding, Hopkins. I appreciate it.
Sam Newsman, for the record, Blake's book series, The Toys That Time Forgot, are essential and vital reading and should be part of any collector's reference shelf.
Thank you, Sam.
You heard it right here from Sam, the Newsman himself. Gotta have it. Our good friend Unboxing Art says, smash that like button. Show some love, Doesn't hurt to hit a like button unless you hit it too hard, and then that's a whole different problem. Sam also says, such an insightful interview, gentlemen, top notch and first class. That's all we do here, Sam. We have top notch, high class interviews.
That's right.
Usually led by Ted because I just hit buttons, but thank you. We appreciate it. And he also says that print is not dead, neither is radio. That he wants to link up soon. So I'm sure he'll get in contact and y'all can.
I'm out there this year, so if you're hitting shows, just keep an eye out because I'm making up for lost time at this point.
And then just some follow-ups about your news about being in remission. Great news. Cancer can be scary, but modern medicine is really good at negating it with new technologies coming out all the time. So congratulations on that.
This particular cancer that I had, just in the past 10 years, there have been amazing strides in treating it. So yeah, I am walking, talking proof of what he just said there.
Oh yeah. The man collects also says, awesome to hear that you're in remission. Wishing you continued good health.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Wonderful, part of the Toy Elite, says, let's go, make a deal. I think that's in reference to what you can't speak about, even though we're going to try and hint at you saying it eventually. How about now? No? Okay. I'll try. Hopkins says, sorry if it was already answered, which we didn't ask this question. Normally, we kind of hint at it every once in a while. But do you guys collect numerous different figure brands you love, or is there a specific brand that you're all in for?
Blake, you want to go first? You just showed off quite a wide array of haul there.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm all over the map. I mean, if you look behind me, you'll see a Hiss tank, you'll see a Crusher from 1979, Mattel. There's a Plunderling back there. I got even some Funko Pops because that's the only way I was going to get Rush figures out of anybody.
I don't know. You leave it up to what, McFarlane now? He's
doing music, yeah.
He's got his hand in everything now.
Yeah, and then Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas. That 2-pack is back there.
Mm.
That one Marvel Legend you may not be able to see. He's kind of obscure, but that's the Chris Star. And then the Toxic Crusader that's behind Turbo Man is Toxie himself, but that's the Trick or Treat Studios version, which I highly recommend because it is awesome and it's very affordable. So yeah, I mean, I'm kind of all over the map. And then what I showed you just now is, I mean, again, it's just, but the thing that I have the most of in my collection currently is actually the Weta stuff I was mentioning earlier. I have a lot of Lord of the Rings mini epics, and I have a little bit of the Dark Crystal stuff that they did. They didn't do that line for very long. And my wife got me the Ghostbusters for Christmas. So that is, that would be what's in the cases out there. I do have, I have Earthworm Jim stuff, the classic Earthworm Jim stuff out there. I have, and I do have some. One of the, I often get asked a lot about when I was doing those books, did I ever buy anything, the prototypes that I came across, any unproduced stuff? And the only stuff I bought was Earthworm Jim related. So I have a painted hard copy of Evil Jim. I have an unpainted hard copy of Samurai Jim. I have a wax sculpt of a figure called Clutch, which was a snail guy that Playmates invented as part of the line. It was not canon to Earthworm Jim at all, but they were going to put it in the line anyway. And I have a Hamsternator that's still in the silicone mold that was never broken out. All this stuff's in not handy, or I would show it to you. So I was able to get those figures from the unproduced second series. I also started collecting 2D stuff, so I have pencil on vellum drawings of Copterhead Jim and Extendo Arm Jim, which were 2 from the second series, and I also have a pencil on vellum drawing of the Worm Chopper, or whatever they're going to call it, which was a motorcycle that they didn't come out with. That I need to frame one of these days, but I haven't gotten around to it yet.
Nice.
Aaron, did you want to go, or you want to keep moving?
I mean, I'm sure they already know. I mean,
they already know.
What don't I have at this point? I'm kind of all over the place, really. I mean, I got my Marvel Legends, I got my wrestling figures. I was really heavy into the Funko Pops, like we were talking earlier, and then got out of that. I still have some, but mainly I think it's just a lot of like the pop artists. So I got my Biggie, the Tupac, some other stuff. I have a lot of the Power Ranger stuff still, but yeah, no, pretty much all over the place, man. Definitely said Mythic Legions. Let's say I got pretty much. If not, I'm probably missing like 7 of the knights in the series now. I found a bunch, but yeah, that's me, kind of here and there and everywhere.
I am with you, because I have some AWOC here and some Valaverse here and some turtles here. I just cleaned all this up. I have a Ken here, which you can still buy at hellodopetoys.com right now. Get Ken out of my house. This one's actually mine, so he will be here forever.
He is enough.
And then,
I had to do it. Sorry.
We got Mythic Legions. I got Boglins here in the back. Power Rangers, Marvel Legends, Sentinels, He-Mans, everything. Mostly 112, but I don't know. People like it's Chad and Wilhelm and Fatrid. They are, I don't know, man. They're leaning me towards that 118th. I might have to dabble.
Yeah, I tell you, this shredder right here. That's
Skeletor. Yeah.
That's that evil samurai.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah, I need one of those.
Like, I think the only thing that would have made this, I don't even know if it might actually do it. I haven't tried it. Is that if it glowed in the dark?
Oh, it looks like it should.
It looks like it might.
Yeah.
I mean, like, that's what I thought, but like nothing on here says it, and I don't have really good light to make it glow.
Yeah, just throw it outside for a little bit. It's a sunny day. Take care of it. Cool. Let's finish up this chat.
Sounds good. Speaking of the man, 1-6 Shooter has come to join us.
Hey, there he is.
Welcome. First time visitor, I think.
Yes, at least to my knowledge. So thank you for stopping in and hanging out. We spread some love over there to you earlier in the show. So if you missed it, check it out. Cybertruck, what are some misconceptions you think people have about the toy collecting community? Now, that's a really dark hole you could go down. But if you want to talk about it, I'll let you go.
Yeah.
How long is this show again?
Well, let me go to the bathroom first. Maybe grab a beer.
I don't even know where to start with that. I mean, there obviously are. I mean, I guess the easiest one is that we're all, whatever, something's living in our mom's basements or whatever. When I swear there's only about half of us that are like that. Most of the group, I mean, like, I'm a professional journalist. I have a bachelor's degree in journalism. I've been a journalist for over 30 years. So that's my profession. This house is mine that I'm here, and everything. There's some stigmas that go along with toy collecting, but I think that there are enough of, as we've kind of aged, because everybody who was there for the golden ages of the 80s or whatever, you're staring 50 in the face if you're not already older than that. We're kind of gracefully moving along, and because we are professionals for the most part, we've been able to go back and buy a bunch of these toys we had as kids in the 70s and 80s. And I think that there was no time that was more present than during COVID, where you saw a ton of collectors join, the collector base, because most people were, sitting at their house with not a lot to do. I never saw the eBay numbers from that time, but I can only imagine their traffic went up quite a bit. So, at the end of the day, there are, stereotypes that are put on a lot of toy collectors, and a lot of them are probably unfair for the most part. But we, at the same time, sometimes they're brought on. We bring it on to ourselves. If you can't wear deodorant at a con, then don't go to the con. It's just not
a concert.
Yeah,
comedy show.
I mean, it's I've walked through some pretty heinous clouds of funk in San Diego more than once. So just do us all a favor. And nothing said that with more eloquently than the year Mattel handed out Mossman pine scented stick antiperspirant. They literally did that for anybody who wasn't there, I can vouch. They did. They handed out deodorant.
I really wish we would have had one of those.
That was pine scented, and it was labeled Moss Man.
Oh, I need some of that.
Pine scented antiperspirant.
What to put that into your reel you never do, Ted?
I'm about to go to eBay and see if I can snag some of that.
Yeah, it's out there, guys. I swear to you. I had some for a long time, but this was a while back, so it's probably evaporated if you find it anywhere these days. But it's legit.
It's funny. I got 2 more in here, and then we can put that up there if you know.
All right.
This big time YouTuber here, named A Punk with Toys, has come to grace us with his presence. Thank you, Lawrence, for letting us little people know that we mean something to you in your really big world. So, thank you.
And check Lawrence out tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern as he. Actually, hold on. Let me change that. Check Lawrence out tomorrow at 11 p.m. Eastern when he actually gets to the point of his show. If you want to tune in sooner and hear some news, you could do that. But dude, we're off tomorrow. It's a holiday. Lawrence, I might hang out for that whole 4.5 hours, man. I'm looking forward to it. I'm gonna come in there and lounge. So check out A Punk with Toys while you still can.
And then 1-6 also says great news about the remission. So just more good well wishes about your remission. So hope all is well.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
All right.
Awesome. So issue 12 is dropping soon. Let's build some hype, man. Let's make some sales right now. What are we getting out of issue 12?
Yeah, it'll probably be shipping, I'm guessing, at the end of not this coming week, but the week after.
I'm so glad I subscribed today.
Yeah, so we're going to do a cover reveal not this coming Wednesday, but the next Wednesday, which I think is the 3rd, maybe. The cover is an exclusive reveal to us. I'm not going to tell you what it is. You just have to wait on that. But we cover. Let's see. I'm trying to remember. We do have the Great Ohio Toy Show Toy Hunt in there. There's an interview with Dave Cortez, who's a fairly well-known sculptor. Did a lot of Marvel Legends in his day. Also has done quite a bit of work with Toy Biz back in the both Marvel Legends and Lord of the Rings days. He is still active. He did, if you collected any of the 4-inch Jazzwares Fortnite figures, he did those. Pretty much all of them, which is like 200 figures or something like that.
Those things were popular.
Yeah. He also has done some head work for Motu Revelations or Masterverse, not just Revelations. But he's a really interesting cat, been doing it for almost 25 years. Another one of those guys that worked in clay, but had to, make the switch to digital, but still loves working in clay. And he sculpted one of my favorite action figures of all time, which was, as far as mass retail figures, which was the 18-inch Spider-Man from Spider-Man 2, which had 67 points of articulation. Yes, I said 67 points of articulation.
Wow.
Yeah. What else is in there? There's some toy reviews in there for sure. Trying to think. Oh, of course, my good friend 1-6 Shooter has his inaugural toy photography column on board there. Pixel Dan did an interview with another YouTuber / now toy magnate, Mad Hatter, about his foray into toy manufacturing. And then I'm trying to think what else the column was. The Lost Toy Lost Toy project in this one was pulled from one of the books. It's the Knickerbocker Lord of the Rings line from the late 70s. Now you're probably going, well, all those got put out, because I remember that they're very expensive and very hard to find. Well, there were 8. I think there were 8 figures put out, or 6 figures and 2 horses. There was a 9th figure that was planned, and it was even partially sculpted. And you will see that figure in the magazine. Because a lot of people didn't know that. But I was very surprised when I found out about it, because I thought that line was done and put out and fine. But so it wasn't necessarily a second wave that was started. It was just a 9th figure that was supposed to go in the first wave, but they kind of canceled it mid-sculpt, let's say. So you'll see the partially sculpted figure in this issue for any Lord of the Rings fans out there. And I'm trying to think of what else is. Let me cheat real quick. What else is in there? That's what it is. Already. So for any Joe, because this issue is going to Joe Fest. So we're going to be at Joe Fest in June. We're going to do the thing that we did in Ohio at Joe Fest, which is for the first 500 people that come into Joe Fest, you're going to get a reusable tote bag with the Toy Collector logo on it and a fresh copy of issue 12.
That's awesome.
So the first 500 people will get that. We're going to do red, white, and blue bags because, hey, it's Joe Fest. We did it at Xenia. We did it at Great Ohio Toy Show too, but they were just black and blue. But we did a post-mortem on the Hiss Tank. So Hiss Tank, where am I at? Over here.
Yep.
So we talked to the Joe team about the decision-making that went into making the Hiss the first classified HasLab vehicle. And I think you'll learn a few things that you hadn't heard about that process. And then another writer who we've used a few times did kind of a deconstruction of the actual product that everybody received. So it's about a 12-page feature and all about the classified Hiss Tank. So yeah, that's probably one of the main things that's in there, because we wanted to do something for because we knew this was going to be a Joe Fest. So and there are a few more things in there, but we'll leave that for surprises.
Yeah, you don't want to give all the
we don't want to give it all away. So
just to refresh people's minds again. So subscribers to you, they get it for, you said was it $11.99?
Yeah, so it's $69 for 6 issues.
Okay.
So it ends up being, I think, $11.50 per. And delivered to your mailbox. Or you can go to select Barnes & Noble's Books A Million and pay the $14.99. Happy that that's the way you want to do it. Or you can get your comic shop to order it for you. Same price, same cover price, $14.99. And they can put it in, because it's in every other previews, I guess, because we're bi-monthly, and get it put directly in your comic box. I, of course, benefit the most when you subscribe, and would love for you to come on board. Like I said, if you're an Earthworm Jim fan, now's the time to do it, because we're going to hopefully be doing that deal here in the next 6 to 8 weeks, hopefully.
I'm gonna have to go ahead and hit that button myself.
Yeah. It
was the thing was when people were like, $15 is a lot for a magazine, and I'm like, yeah, it is. It really is. And I really wanted the price to be $12.99 or $9.99, but in order to make it the quality that it needed to be for me to put my name on it, basically, this was the price point it had to be. And I, like I said, if I could have made it more affordable and kept the quality, I would have done it. but it's just one of those things. I mean, prices on everything have gone up. I don't need to tell anybody that. But basically, an issue of the magazine back when Hasbro was doing their no plastic packaging, I was telling people it will cost you less than half of a Marvel Legend that Hasbro won't even let you see anymore.
And it has nothing in the box.
Yeah. So, when you put it that way, when you try to, connect the dots and say, okay, I mean, I understand it's expensive, but look at what else is expensive. People realize, well, maybe it's not that expensive. And like I said, hopefully people are retaining these things and keeping them and not chucking them out, because I think that there's enough value put in each one of these to where it's a really cool reference, not only for imagery that is not on the internet, but for long form stories that are not on the internet anywhere.
Awesome. Well, I want to say that this conversation with you has been incredibly insightful, I think, for both of us. And if I hadn't already done a subscription today, I would 100% be filling out my subscription after this show. So I think the work that you're doing is amazing. I really respect your grind and hustle. The fact that you're just constantly moving and the battles that you've had to overcome. We touched on your cancer, and you're still working on your own projects. And I know you said kind of like the low for you was not being able to do as much as you wanted, but the fact that you're at issue 12 right now coming out, none of that stuff stopped you. You're still going. I think that's absolutely incredible and inspiring. And I really hope that this is around for many years to come. But with that, we're going to wrap it up. Is there anything you would like to promote, Blake?
One quick before you answer that. Sorry. Kato wanted to ask, are back issues available if he wanted to catch up?
Yeah. So the two places to go for that, most reliable two places, ToyStalker.com will have back issues. Big Bad Toy Store will have back issues. Usually they keep everything in stock. Big Bad might be out of issue 1 right now. But between the two of them, you ought to be able to fill it out without much problem. And if you do have a problem, shoot me an email. I've got a few of them as well.
Very cool. But yeah, Blake, what would you like to promote?
Well, I did mention we're going to be at Joe Fest. So anybody who's in the Augusta, Georgia area next month, towards the end of the month, we'll be there. We'll have a table, but basically I'm going to be running around, talking with people, trying to get, coverage of the show for a future issue of the magazine, that sort of thing. We'll be at Comic-Con in July in San Diego, but only briefly. Only going to be there Wednesday and Thursday. But we will have full coverage from the show, because almost all of the guys who freelance for me will also be there. So we'll stitch that together for sure. Oh, the other thing that's in this upcoming issue, really quick, is our Comic-Con predictions, which we love to do. So
sound fun.
So there'll be a handful of us, the staff of the magazine, talking about what we expect to see in San Diego. And then once San Diego comes and goes, we'll do a post-mortem thing about how wrong we were or about how right we were. So those are always really fun. So, and plus you can, kick it, put it in our face about how wrong we were, or you can, say, oh, you got that right.
Well, you did say it's a historical document. So
yeah, exactly. So we had fun with that last year. So we wanted to have fun with it again this year. The only other thing I would like to promote is not necessarily toy collector related, but again, I was talking about those blue lines back above my head. There's a graphic novel that I've been working on with an artist for a while now. We've been doing it just kind of as it comes, but now we're finally picking up some steam. It's a property that I created back in 2008, so it's been around for a minute. It's called Moon Man Zero. This is him. This is a pin, by the way. It's a fun story about a secret base that's on the moon that basically protects the Earth from hostiles, unbeknownst to everyone who's on Earth. We've been under alien attack for years, but the moon base has successfully deflected everyone so far, and we basically join up with these fine heroes when the shit's getting ready to hit the fan. So yeah, we're looking to complete that sometime this summer, and probably end up doing a Kickstarter for it sometime in the fall.
Awesome.
So if you're into it and you want to learn a little bit more about it, we do have a Facebook page, facebook.com/moonman0. On YouTube, there is also, if you search Moonman Zero, there is a 4-minute animatic that we did during COVID that basically is kind of if you know what an animatic is, it's like a rough black and white animation that is set. We added music and voiceovers and things like that, and it'll give you an idea of the world of Moonman Zero and his rogues gallery. So that's the one thing outside of Toy Collector I'm most excited about, because like I said, this has been rattling around in my head for a long time, and 16 years I guess now. So yeah, we want I want people to be as excited about it as me, but I know that'll never happen. But if you're into that sort of thing, give it a look and shoot me a comment and let me know if you like it.
Awesome. Aaron, what do you have? You're muted again. You're so polite.
I know. I was doing something. I don't really have much, man. Wave 3 of the TMNT Motu figures are in stock right now. There's some other goodies that are supposed to be moving around next week, so keep an eye out on your emails and the socials, and you'll know what we have. And yeah, that's all I got.
Okay, awesome. Well, I want to say once again, go buy Ken. We have plenty of Kens. Go buy Ken. Go buy something else too. Buy anything from hellodopetoys.com. Because we get a little bonus day off tomorrow where the mail's not moving, so I can accept large amounts of orders coming in because I'll have plenty of time to ship them out in our normal timely manner. Side note, shout out to HGC. When I stepped away for a moment, I saw that he had made a post of Mossman and the barbecue Pringle chips. Stellar. Yes. We're gonna share that on our social media here in a little bit. As Aaron mentioned at the beginning of the show, at the top of the show, we did the first episode of the Hella Dope Rewind from last week's episode with Kato. It kind of took the best of the show and chopped it all down on the off chance that you don't have 2 hours to rewatch this stuff. If that's something you guys are interested in, please leave a comment below and let me know, because yeah, doing those takes a lot, and I don't want to do it if you guys aren't into it. But if you are into it, I will continue to do that. Outside of that, follow us on the Instagram, the YouTubes, subscribe, leave a like, go to the Facebook, go to hellodopetoys.com. Check out Blake. We've been putting his link to Toy Collector in the chat. It is also down in the description. It is also scrolling across the bottom. You can find him on social media, Instagram, Facebook, I believe Twitter too. It's all under Toy Collector. It's all the same.
The only one that's different, Twitter, is ToyCollectr Mag. So at ToyCollectr Mag. The rest of them is just at Toy Collector without the O.
And with that, that's all we got, guys. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight. Next week, Aaron and I are solo. After that, we're bringing back Duarte Studios to talk about his new Ken Dio. Good time to buy a Ken.
Thank you, Cybertruck, for the sub. I just saw that. Thank you.
And we will catch you guys next week. See ya.